Stephen Moore is with us now. Stephen, how much time do you have for me today?
As much as you want, Glenn. Great to hear your voice. Great to be with you. And look, I disagree with you on something you just said.
Okay. All right. Let's start there.
I do think, look, New York has lost 2.5 million people on net over the last 10 years to other states, almost 2.5 million people, which is 4 congressional seats right there. And so there's a what's the big story in America, Glenn, right now, and people should go to our website, Vote With Your Feet, and you can see, just click on any 2 states. You can click on New York and you can click on Texas, and it'll show you where the moving vans are going to and from, and also how much money they're taking with them, because we know the income of these people as well. So New York has lost 2.5 million people. If New York's, and by the way, half of those people came from New York City. So if they elect a socialist and they raise the taxes again, New York City already has the highest taxes in the United States and North America. So if they raise them again on, quote, the rich, they're not going to be there any longer. And I'll make another prediction to you, Glenn. Now, look, are you in Texas? Or where are you now? I can't keep track.
It's like a shell game. I never really know. I just moved last week. I left my business in Texas because I am never going to dissever myself from Texas. But I left my business in Texas, but I promised my wife about 400 years ago that someday we would live by the beach. And so we moved to Florida. So I live in Florida, so business in Texas. You moved from one no income tax state to another no income tax state. Yeah, are you crazy? I'm not doing anything else. I would have dug a canal from the Atlantic all the way into Dallas if it forced me to move to a tax state.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm in Dallas today. That's why you guys go for the same person. But anyway, where are you in Florida?
I'm not saying that on the air, but I will tell you that we're gonna have dinner, Stephen. When you get back into Florida, we'll have dinner.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Well, great. Well, anyway, so now I lost my train of concentration, but I think
so. You were talking about the people that are moving and the tax base.
Yeah. So basically, that's why I believe. Well, look, 1 million is probably a long shot, but I think you're going to see a lot of wealth move out of New York. Now, here's the thing. You probably are aware of this, but about 2 months ago, the Texas set up their own stock exchange. So we've had the New York Stock Exchange for 150 years. Now you've got the Texas Stock Exchange, which I believe is in Dallas. I believe that if they raise these taxes again, you'd pay 17% income tax in New York City. Who's going to do that? By the way, that's on top of the 40% federal tax. So people will move, and I'll give you one example. Ken Griffin, he's the billionaire who created Citadel, and a good guy. He's a free market guy, and he was the single biggest charitable giving in the city of Chicago. He gave to the Art Institute, he gave to the homeless shelters, he gave to the food kitchens and the museums and so on. I mean, he was by far the biggest donor to all of the charities. Well, finally, they kept raising taxes in Chicago. And as you probably know, he moved out of Chicago and he moved to Palm Beach, Florida. And so then the interesting part of the story is it put a $50 million hole in the Illinois budget. One person moving. Oh, my gosh. And there's a funny story in the Chicago Cranes business that all of a sudden these charities like, wait, why isn't he donating us to anymore? Why? Well, he doesn't live there anymore. And so my point is, you chase the evil rich out of your city and your state, and you pay a high price for that in terms of the employment. By the way, he took several thousand, jobs with him. So when you hear "soak the rich," the rich aren't, as the old saying goes, the rich aren't rich because they're stupid.
Right. Let me ask you this, Stephen, because it used to be that New York was the capital of the whole world.
Financial capital.
Because of the stock exchange, how real is the loss of the New York Stock Exchange as something like the Texas Stock Exchange? Is that something that really could actually happen?
Yeah, it could happen. And look, the truth is that the New York Stock Exchange, even today, isn't anything like what it was, 60s, 70s, 80s. Just like, I mentioned I'm from Chicago. Remember the moving trading places, and they're trading the commodities on the Chicago. It doesn't really exist anymore because that's all done by computers, and electronically. So the trading floors aren't the same as they were. So, Wall Street is just a shadow of what it once was. But what I'm saying is that, today in America, in Dallas, Texas, there are more financial services jobs than there are in New York City.
Oh, my gosh.
That's amazing.
Oh, my gosh.
So it is happening. It's happening.
So how long, how much more, Stephen, how much more can New York take before it's no longer the financial capital? How much more, how many people have to move? What has to happen for it to really understand, wow, we made a huge mistake here?
You'd think they'd have gotten that message already. I mean, one of the things you lived, when you first did your Fox show back many, many years ago, you were in, New York. And so you're familiar with New York. And when was that? In the 90s? And when were you in?
In the 2000, mid 2000, 2005, 2010.
Yeah. Because I remember when Rudy, this is an important point because I know you have a lot of listeners all over the country in New York and New Jersey and the New York area. So, when Rudy Giuliani was elected mayor, New York was a mess. And you could see every week, because I was working at the Wall Street Journal at the time, every week you could see the improvement in the city. He got rid of the crime. He got rid of the graffiti. He got rid of the drug dealers. He lowered the taxes. It wasn't complicated, Glenn. I mean, this wasn't rocket surgery, as my kid would say. This was, obvious stuff. And New York was New York again, and it was booming. And what's so sad about this election that's happening today is if Mamdani wins, they will reverse every single thing that Rudy did, and they will be back in the ditch. How stupid would people be to vote for that? I mean, and part of the problem, Glenn, quite frankly, something you and I have talked about the years, is our education system. You have these 24-year-olds who are voting. They think socialism works. Where? Show me. Where?
So what happens if he is elected? What does it mean to people who have never gone to New York City? Is the loss of New York City to a Mamdani, is that going to affect everybody else's life?
That's a good question. I mean, you're there in Florida. Florida has gained. I really want people to go to this website, Vote With Your Feet, because it's amazing. And so Florida, under a great, great, great governor, Ron DeSantis, and you had a great governor, Rick Scott, before him. Florida, are you ready? You're sitting down, Glenn. Florida has imported over a 10-year period $1 trillion of income from people coming in from other states. $1 trillion. That's the biggest mass migration, ever in the history of this country. And by the way, people are not just leaving New York. You know what other big state they're leaving? California.
I think New York is moving to Florida and California is moving to Texas.
Moving to Texas, exactly. And so you're just bleeding these blue states. That's why I don't get it. And so the thing that worries me, I was thinking a lot about this the last couple of days, because, if these states vote wrongly, the only way that New York even survives fiscally is with another massive federal bailout. They're not going to have the tax base. How are they going to pay their bills?
They're not. And, this is what I've said for a long time. The Constitution's not a suicide pact. And California and New York and Chicago are going to eventually need giant bailouts. And why should I pay for that? I didn't live in those places. I didn't live there for a reason. For those people. Right. That's taxation without representation. I don't want to bail them out. It's their fault they did this. Exactly. I've always wanted to live in California. I never have because it was insane. I knew that it was not going to work. So why do I have to pay for it?
Bingo. And incidentally, you're right. You can understand why people might leave New York for Florida. You're in Florida. It's beautiful weather in Florida, and it rains a lot and cloudy in New York. But how do you screw up California? I mean, California is probably one of the most idyllic places on the planet. And people are leaving. This is the first time in 250 years more people are leaving California than going to California. That's never happened before.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay, can you spend some time with me?
I'm going to make one other point about this. And yet the governor of California is right now the lead candidate to run on the Democratic ticket for president. Gavin Newsom, the guy what's he going to run on? I'll do for America what I did for California?
Yes. And so many people will buy into it. I mean, I don't know what's wrong. It's so frustrating because you try to apply logic and you're like, but none of this makes sense. None of it. What are you doing? I would love to be able to sit down and have a conversation with you, but none of this makes sense.